Table of Contents. Chapter 1-3. Chapter 2-9. Chapter 3-14. Chapter 4-21. Chapter 5-24. Chapter 6-31. Chapter 7-34. Chapter 8-41. Chapter 9-48. Chapter 10-55. Chapter 1. There was a neighborhood like no other in Istanbul's bustling city, where the calls to prayer resonated down the small alleyways, and the aroma of Turkish coffee filled the air. This bustling town was known for its rich cultural past and its strong affection for and appreciation for cats. Cats roamed freely in Istanbul, adored and cared for by locals who considered them a part of their daily life. Cats were thought to bring good luck and serve as city guardians by the inhabitants. Istanbul has earned the moniker City of Cats, and its residents were proud of it. Two people were attracted together by their love of these exquisite creatures in this feline-loving area. Aisha, a warm-hearted artist who is passionate about preserving Istanbul's cultural legacy, has always been fascinated by street cats. A kind veterinarian, Aras has devoted his life to caring for the city's stray cat population. Aisha strolled around Sultan Ahmet's old quarter on a lovely afternoon when she noticed a frisky kitten chasing a butterfly. Aisha couldn't help but approach the tiny creature, enchanted by its pure beauty. Aras happened to pass by as she bent down to pet the kitty on his route to a nearby clinic. When their gazes locked, a spark of recognition sparked between them. They started talking about Istanbul's cats, sharing stories about their encounters, and expressing their wish to make a difference in their lives. Aisha spoke passionately about her art and her desire to raise awareness about the beauty and significance of these feline companions. Aras, moved by Aisha's commitment, volunteered his skills and assistance in any manner he could. They imagined a project that would honor Istanbul's cats, raise awareness about their needs, and advocate responsible cat ownership. Aisha and Aras set out with a joint vision to capture the lives of Istanbul's cats using Aisha's art and Aras's veterinary skills. They wandered the vibrant streets, recording the distinct personalities and stories of each cat they met. Aisha and Aras staged local exhibitions to showcase Aisha's paintings and Aras's pictures of the city's feline population as their project gathered traction. Locals and visitors alike were drawn to the festivities, which featured artistic depictions of Istanbul's famed cats. Their work began to have an impact, calling attention to the problems that stray cats confront and the significance of spaying and neutering programs. The community came together to assist Aisha and Aras, donating their help and resources to promote feline welfare in Istanbul. Recognizing the need for a dedicated area to care for and rehome stray cats, Aisha and Aras founded a cat sanctuary in the center of Istanbul with the aid of local benefactors. The monastery served as a safe haven for injured, abandoned, and neglected cats, providing them with medical attention, housing, and the opportunity to find loving homes. Their extraordinary efforts reached Istanbul and beyond. People from all over the city began contacting Aisha and Aras for advice on caring for and safeguarding the cats in their own neighborhoods. Aisha and Aras generously offered their expertise and resources, creating workshops and training initiatives to help others become advocates for feline welfare. Aisha and Aras became well-known celebrities in Istanbul due to their dedication and enthusiasm for the welfare of cats. They were acknowledged as being the driving force behind the city's expanding cat-friendly efforts. Newspapers covered their brave work, and their narrative motivated others to do the same. They grinned at one another and were appreciative that their shared love of cats brought them together years later as they sat on the couch with their kitties. They were confident that their furry family and each other would be there to make them smile and laugh no matter what calamities or turmoil they encountered. And so their love story went on, full of funny and endearing scenes involving their pet kitties. They decided one day to bring their cats to a cat cafe to socialize with other cats and indulge in some delectable delicacies. They overheard a conversation about a cat rescue needing volunteers as they sipped their coffee and watched their kitties play. The couple grabbed the chance and went to the rescue to assist without any reservations. They played with the cats for hours, cleaned the cages, and assisted with adoptions. Knowing they were improving the lives of these animals gave them a feeling of meaning and fulfillment. One day, when they were snuggled up on the couch, Luna, one of their fluffy black and white cats, began meowing non-stop. The woman lifted Luna and rubbed her head. "What's wrong, Luna?" He grabbed a toy from the basket and threw it across the room, saying, "Maybe she wants to play." Oliver, the family's other cat, is a sleek gray tabby who initially observed the game with interest before deciding to pounce on the toy. The woman giggled, "Looks like Oliver wants to play too." The man turned to the woman and remarked, "You know, I never would have thought that adopting a couple of cats would lead us down this path." They then started playing with their cats. "Me neither, but I'm appreciative of it," the woman said with a smile. "Our passion for cats has given us so much happiness and meaning." While cuddling with their cats, they observed Luna and Oliver nodding off in their laps. As the man embraced her, the woman muttered, "We're so blessed to have discovered each other." He said, "I couldn't agree more." They both grinned happily, savoring the moment's tranquility. They began fostering cats needing homes as their affection for cats increased. They would sit on the couch and watch TV as kittens would crawl all over them in their cat-filled home. They even launched a cat fashion brand, creating original, adorable clothes for their cats. They entered their cats in cat competitions, receiving honors for their distinct personalities and fashion sense. In addition to bringing them together, their shared love of cats gave them a sense of meaning and joy in life. They were excited to see what adventures lay ahead since they knew their love for one another and their pets would only deepen. The pair began to be referred to in their neighborhood as the cat lovers as they maintained their love of cats. People who recognized them as the couple with the cats would frequently stop them on the street, and they were always pleased to stop and talk about their feline companions. One day, the couple was invited to a gala fundraiser for animal rescue groups. They were eager to attend and decided to make it a memorable event by wearing coordinated ensembles with cats as the theme. The male wore a suit with a cat print tie, and the woman wore a lovely black dress with a cat brooch. As they entered the gala, they observed that many attendees shared their enthusiasm for animal welfare. They made friends with other cat lovers and animal rights activists and exchanged tales and experiences with their cherished pets. Chapter 2. They had the chance to place a bid on a particular auction item at the occasion a painting of their pets by a well-known artist. They made aggressive bids and ultimately got the image they proudly hung in their house. They treasured the photo because it reminded them of their unique relationship with their pets. They were aware that their shared love of cats had brought them together and allowed them to affect the lives of these magnificent animals positively. The duo exchanged smiles as they exited the event hand in hand. They were eager to see where their adventure would lead them next since they were confident that their love for one another and their pets would only grow. After the charity gala, the duo was motivated to further their efforts for animal welfare. They started volunteering at neighborhood animal shelters, caring for stray cats and other animals. They also developed into animal rights proponents and frequently participated in protests and rallies to spread the word about animal cruelty and neglect. The pair entered the animal shelter and was immediately struck by the overwhelming number of cats and dogs needing homes. The woman exclaimed, grinning, "Oh my goodness, look at all these adorable animals." The man said firmly, "I know we have to do something to help them." They worked with the animals all afternoon, feeding and playing with them while attempting to make them feel loved and at home. "I wish we could take them all home with us," the woman murmured as they departed, turning to look back at the animals with a broken heart. "We may not be able to bring them all home, but we can change their life," the man said as he put a comforting hand on her shoulder. "And that's what counts most." They founded their cat rescue group out of their love for cats. They turned their house into a cat sanctuary, accepting stray cats and giving them a haven until they could find their forever homes. They rapidly earned the moniker Cat Whisperers in their neighborhood due to their extraordinary capacity to communicate with cats and aid in their recovery from trauma. Their cat rescue organization expanded quickly, and individuals from all over the world who were moved by their kindness and commitment to these incredible cats donated and supported them. They even appeared on a local news program where they discussed their experience and urged others to take up animal activism and rescue. The couple always remembered the factor that had brought them together in the first place, their love for cats. They kept getting feline friends to their homes, each with a unique personality and backstory. They even established a custom of having an annual cat party where they welcomed all of their feline companions, as well as their human owners, to share in their love of cats through food, entertainment, and many cuddles. The pair realized as they reflected on their trip that their shared love of cats had brought them together and given them a mission and purpose in life. They were thankful for each other and their furry pals, who had brought them so much happiness and fulfillment because they understood that they were changing the world one cat at a time. The pair devoted their lives to saving and caring for cats. They encouraged many people to engage in animal welfare and assisted countless felines in finding loving homes. Their commitment and diligence had not gone unnoticed, and they soon received an approach from an influential philanthropist who was moved by their work. The benefactor volunteered to support their cat rescue group and even gave them a sizable plot of land so they could construct a better refuge. The pair was overjoyed and in awe of their good fortune. They put a lot of effort into building a cutting-edge facility that could house even more cats and provide them everything they required to thrive. The new refuge has roomy play spaces, inviting sleeping accommodations, and even a clinic for sick or injured cats. The pair reflected on their journey and the difference they had made as they lounged on the couch with their animal pets. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Aisha asked Araz, grinning from discussing our kitties on our first date to creating a complete cat rescue and sanctuary. "I know, it's amazing," the man responded. "I'm so glad our love of kitties brought us here since I never imagined it would. And I appreciate you supporting me throughout it all." She grasped his hand and leaned over. "I share your sentiments. We work well together, both in our relationships and in our work for the kitties." Feeling satisfied and at ease, they both relaxed against the couch while being surrounded by their furry friends. The woman responded softly, "I never knew what my purpose in life was until I met you and our kitties." The man nodded while grinning. "Our mission has changed to ensure that all cats are loved and cared for." Chapter 3. Both of them were aware that there was still work to be done, but they were prepared to accomplish it together with the aid of their cats and the group of people they had created. They were more joyful than ever since their work had become their lives. Naturally, they still made time for one another and frequently spent evenings cuddling with their cats, exchanging tales, and thinking back on the cats they had fostered. The pair understood that they had indeed discovered their mission in life when they entered their golden years. They didn't require anything else in order to be happy because they had each other and their cherished kitties. In the end, their shared love of cats led them not just together but also to a happy, fulfilling existence. One cat at a time, they knew as they reflected on their adventure that they had changed the world. Their company kept expanding, and they were well known in the neighborhood because of their work. Visitors would go from all over the city to their refuge to visit and adopt animals, and they even began to get assistance from neighborhood businesses and organizations. The duo kept coming up with inventive solutions to assist homeless kitties. They began a foster program where volunteers may house cats and kittens until their forever homes can be found. Additionally, they started providing affordable spay and neuter treatments to reduce the city's cat overpopulation. They were given speaking engagements at conferences and other gatherings across the nation due to the impact their work had gained. They became animal welfare activists, and many people were moved by their message of love and compassion. As the pair aged, the years turned into decades, and they realized it was time to hand the reins over to the next generation. They succeeded in finding a group of ardent and committed animal lovers to take over their organization, and they retired happily in the knowledge that their legacy would endure. But even in retirement, they could not leave their love of cats behind them. They continued volunteering and fostering kittens at their last animal sanctuary, spending their days among the furry companions that had brought them such joy. The couple understood they had lived a life filled with love, meaning, and compassion as they neared the end of their journey together. And as they parted ways, they knew their love for cats and one another would endure forever. Their devotion to one another and to cats was absolutely amazing, and many people were inspired by their example to live fulfilling lives. Their dedication and unrelenting commitment to animal welfare moved people worldwide. As their journey ended, it also signaled the start of a new chapter in the lives of individuals they had impacted via their work and love. Their legacy endured in the hearts of everyone fortunate enough to have known them and the innumerable cats they had saved and cared for. The couple's trip may have ended, but their love for cats and each other endured forever. Their tale served as a reminder that kindness, love, and compassion can transform the world one cat at a time as the world kept turning. The couple's memories endured over time in the minds and emotions of those who had known them. Dedicated volunteers who shared the couple's enthusiasm for the welfare of cats took care of their home, now a cat sanctuary, which continued to flourish. One day, a young woman visited the refuge looking to adopt a cat. She was overcome by the sheer quantity of cats in need of homes as she made her way through the rooms filled with cats of all colors and sizes. But afterward, she discovered a cat unlike any other she had ever seen. She knew the moment she met the cat, who had an eccentric personality and an odd coat pattern, that he was the one for her. She couldn't help but think about the couple who founded this refuge and how their passion for cats had motivated many people as she completed the adoption paperwork. She committed herself to continuing their legacy and providing the cat with the best life she could. So, when she left the shelter with her new animal companion, she was aware that she had joined a group of cat lovers where cats were more prevalent than people and accidents were frequent. She knew she was a part of something far more significant, a legacy of love and compassion that had impacted the lives of humans and innumerable felines. An odd emotion swept over the young woman as she left the cat shelter. She could not quite place the source of her nagging sensation that something was wrong. She put the emotion aside and brought her new kitty home. However, she couldn't get rid of the feeling that she was being watched as she settled in for the evening. There was nobody there when she took a peek around her flat. While working at her desk, she got an email from an unidentified sender the following day. "Be careful what you wish for," advised the advice in the email, which had no subject line. The cats never stop watching. Aisha read the email aloud to herself and couldn't help but feel uneasy. She squinted her eyes in perplexity and mumbled, "What does this even mean?" Her new kitten suddenly leaped onto her desk and gave her a wide-eyed look. Aisha said, "Oh, hey there," and reached out to pet him. She could not get rid of the impression that something was strange about him, though, as she felt his fur. Chapter 4. Aisha recoiled in alarm when the cat suddenly growled and swatted at her hand. She questioned as she observed the cat scurrying off into another room. Strange events were happening as she went about her day. Her possessions were getting relocated, things kept tipping over for no apparent reason, and the unpleasant sensation of being watched never left. She finally gave in and decided to phone her pal for some guidance. She paced back and forth in her living room. "I don't know what to do," she murmured. "I think I'm going insane." After attentively listening, her buddy made the following recommendation: "Why don't you try chatting to the couple who built the refuge? They could provide some insight into what's happening." The young lady was prepared to try anything to find answers, even though it looked like a long shot. She looked up the couple's contact information and tremblingly called them. She was shocked when the pair picked up on the first ring. A woman's voice rang out on the phone, "Hello." The young woman stumbled, "Hello, my name is Asli. I just adopted a cat from your shelter, and lately, I've been having some strange occurrences in my flat," the person said. "Could you?" After carefully listening to her account, the pair looked at each other with understanding. The man said softly, "It sounds like your cat might be trying to tell you something." However, what could he be saying? Asli inquired, more perplexed than ever. The woman speculated, "Perhaps he's trying to warn you of something. You know, cats have a way of detecting danger." After thinking this, Asli suddenly remembered the email she had just received. She read the message to the couple on the phone. Do you think it could be related to this? Before the man continued, there was a little pause. Asli, you should use caution. Trust your gut and pay attention to your cat. He might be attempting to defend you. Chapter 5. The man's remarks sent a shiver down Sale's spine, but they also made her feel appreciative. With a gentle voice, she replied, "Thank you. I believe I now understand." She looked over at her cat, now cuddled on the couch, and watched her calmly as she hung up the phone. She whispered, feeling renewed trust and connection to her feline friend, "I'll listen to you." The young lady was alarmed but attempted to dismiss it as a joke. But after that, strange events started to occur. She saw her new cat staring at her with unwavering eyes whenever she woke up in the middle of the night. When she returned home, she would find things had been moved around the flat, and strange noises had emanated from the walls. She chose to investigate the source of the noise one night. She could hear meowing from behind the wall as she approached it. Surprisingly, the wall gave way when she stretched out and touched it. She stumbled onto a hidden area with cats behind a wall. There were dozens of them, all of whom had piercing eyes and were glaring at her. The young woman's eyes were so unbelievable. She had discovered something odd. She attempted to leave the room but was stopped by an odd force. The cats had now surrounded her and were blocking her path. The teenager was afraid and unsure of what was going on. "You are one of us now," a voice murmured in her ear. The young woman attempted to flee, but the cats controlled her thoughts. She was now one of them, a fierce advocate for felines who would stop at nothing to defend them. She was now a part of the peculiar and eccentric world of the cat lovers after becoming entrapped by them. The woman had a surprise as soon as she opened the door. A group of cats holding a sign that read, "Will you marry me?" were there. They were dressed in little bow ties. The man was carrying a ring while Araz was on one knee and appeared both anxious and hopeful. The woman's eyes were so unbelievable. This was something she had never seen before. She took a glance at the man before returning to the kitties. She began to laugh, happy tears running down her cheeks. She hugged the man tightly and exclaimed, "Of course, I'll marry you." As Araz put the ring on her finger, the cats purred in agreement. The cats jumped and played around them as they joined the celebration. After that day, they kept residing in their comfortable home with their furry family. They frequently cracked jokes about how the cats had helped bring them together, and they never forgot the odd proposal. They grew older together as the years passed, surrounded by their cherished pets. They were confident that their union was predestined, and the cats had done it in a particularly unusual and one-of-a-kind way. One day, when they were both seated in their living room with their cats nearby, they noticed an odd noise coming from the outside. A little kitten was furiously meowing outside the window as they peered out to get its attention. They didn't think twice before opening the door and letting the kitten inside. It was a little creature with unkempt fur and large, beseeching eyes. They were aware that they couldn't refuse it. They began to notice something odd as they were caring for the kitten. It appeared to have a remarkable capacity for comprehension, even offering responses of its own. They began to quip that perhaps the kitten was an alien in disguise. The kitten's peculiar behavior became increasingly apparent as the days passed. It would fixate on them intensively as if trying to convey a crucial message. They started to question if it was an alien visiting Earth for a specific purpose. The kitten would occasionally stand up on its hind legs while they were seated with it, and it would speak in an odd, robotic voice. It said, "Greetings, humans. I'm Zorgan, and I come from the planet Felinios. I have been assigned to investigate your world for my people." The pair was in disbelief. This was the first time they had heard of anything like it. They paid close attention as Zorgan informed them of his mission and the Earth's findings he had made. They were in amazement as he revealed some cosmic secrets to them. Zorgan entered their life regularly after that day. He gave them his knowledge and experience in exchange for their assistance in making him blend in on Earth. They had embarked on an adventure they could never have anticipated, thanks to their love for one another and their animal family. Together, they learned about the universe's wonders and made lifelong memories. And when they reflected on their voyage, they realized that they had discovered something genuinely wonderful in their animal companions and each other. The pair was overjoyed and eager to welcome their new furry family member home. He was given the name Mr. Whiskers and soon learned to command their attention. But soon, they were aware of some odd occurrences in and around the property. Things would disappear and then turn up in strange places. Meowing noises would come from vacant rooms, and they would notice. Additionally, they would occasionally glimpse a cloaked figure slipping by them. They initially brushed it off as their imagination. But as the occurrences increased in frequency, they began to wonder if their new cat might be a factor. While cleaning the attic, they came across an antique photo album belonging to the home's former owner one day. They came upon a picture of a cat that resembled Mr. Whiskers as they turned the pages. They were curious, so they looked it up and learned that the cat in the picture had been a cherished pet of the previous owner, who had passed away. They concluded that Mr. Whiskers was not just any regular cat but rather the treasured pet of the former owner. After that day, they began giving Mr. Whiskers even more affection and care. Then the odd things that were happening around the house stopped. They believed that by caring for Mr. Whiskers, the prior owner's spirit had attained peace. With their furry family and the memories of their strange but adorable vacation, the couple lived happily ever after. Chapter 6. The couple's devotion to Mr. Whiskers became more fabulous every day as time went on. They frequently told their friends and relatives about his enigmatic behaviors, and they would listen in awe. The couple decided to invite all of their pals over for a Halloween party one day. They decorated the house with ghostly figures, scary cobwebs, and pumpkins. Mr. Whiskers appeared to enjoy the celebrations as the cat batted at the hanging ornaments and purred happily. As the evening continued, the conversation turned to ghost stories and other spooky tales. The story of Mr. Whiskers and the bizarre events that had taken place in the residence astounded the couple's friends. A skeptic buddy raised their hand. "I don't think ghosts or spirits exist." I said, "It's hocus pocus." They exchanged knowing looks. They smiled and added, "Well, you may not believe in ghosts, but Mr. Whiskers does." Mr. Whiskers sprang onto the table at that precise moment, tipping a vase over with a loud crash. The visitors jumped in shock. The pair reassured their concerned guests, "He's just getting into the Halloween spirit." But stranger events started to occur more frequently as the evening went on. Doors squeaked as they opened and closed, and a chill was in the air. The visitors were starting to feel uncomfortable. Mr. Whiskers abruptly yowled loudly and bolted from the room. The visitors followed, wondering where he was heading. He was discovered sitting at the bottom of the steps and paying close attention to the top step. They observed a figure's faint form slowly coming into being. As the figure took on the form of a woman, the visitors were awed into silence. She gave them a friendly grin before disappearing. The cynic buddy of the couple was incomprehensible. Araz muttered, "I don't know what to say. I believe I may now be a believer." The visitors began telling their own ghost stories as the evening went on, each scarier than the one before. Sensing the atmosphere in the room, Mr. Whiskers curled up in a corner and kept an eye on the proceedings. A cool breeze entered the room as the last story was recounted, and the lights began flicking. The visitors were perplexed as they looked around them and tried to figure out what had happened. However, they soon discovered Mr. Whiskers fixating closely on the vacant chair next to him. Chapter 7. The visitors screamed in fright when the chair began to tremble, and a ghostly figure appeared. But Mr. Whiskers just got up and strolled over to the Constitution, passionately rubbing his head against its hand. To everyone's surprise, the figure gently vanished, leaving a light perfume odor in its wake. The visitors regarded one another in shock, unsure if what they had just seen was true. The pair grinned knowingly, appreciating the cunning ways of their feline companion. They were grateful to have Mr. Whiskers in their life and never again questioned his remarkable skills. The guests said goodbye to their hosts as the celebration ended, still in amazement at the extraordinary evening they had just enjoyed. And they couldn't help but feel a sense of warmth and comfort as they left the house, knowing that Mr. Whiskers would always be there to look out for his family and make their lives enjoyable. They decided to bring their animals in for checkups the next day. They started chatting with an older woman waiting in the clinic with her cat. Aisha observed how many animals the couple owned and said, "You too must love animals." The couple exchanged smiles and nods of consent. The woman then went on to share with them a touching tale of how her cat had saved her life. She mentioned that one night, she could not get up and seek assistance due to sickness. When her cat noticed something wasn't right, it ran to the window and started meowing loudly to get the neighbors' attention so they could call an ambulance. The narrative moved the pair, who realized that their shared love of animals had brought them together in the first place. Together, they began working as volunteers at the neighborhood animal shelter, caring for the numerous cats and dogs needing a good home. They developed a close friendship over their love of animals over time, and they even founded their cat rescue organization. They delighted in giving abandoned or abused cats a safe and nurturing home. So what began as a fortuitous meeting between two cat lovers in a grocery shop blossomed into a lovely partnership, bound by their affection for their furry friends and their commitment to positively impacting the lives of animals in their neighborhood. Their cat rescue group gained popularity quickly and assisted additional cats daily. Whether it was a stray cat they discovered on the street or a cat given up by its previous owner, they were always looking for fresh cats needing a home. The couple's relationship grew closer as they cooperated in caring for the cats and finding new homes. To keep the cats content and healthy, they would spend their days scrubbing litter boxes, giving them food, and playing with them. And it paid off since they quickly established themselves as the community's go-to organization for cat adoptions. They even began planning events to generate money for their cause as their organization grew. They would throw cat-themed gatherings and movie evenings where visitors could eat and drink amidst their feline companions. Additionally, they opened an online shop selling products with cats as the motif, with all sales supporting their rescue work. Once the local news learned of their triumph, they were interviewed for a feature piece. They received community support once the news report aired on television. Donations poured in, and the success of their organization increased. The pair remained committed to one another and their furry pals. They were aware that their shared love of cats brought them together and gave them a reason to be. And when they observed the cats they had saved, they realized they had improved their and their owners' lives. They couldn't help but giggle as they returned home at the absurd situation. They never anticipated that their pets would result in such a commotion. When they returned home, they discovered their animals had opened the door and were all waiting for them there. While the puppies were playing with one another in the living room, the cats were snuggled up on the couch. Realizing that their pets had managed to become friends with one another, they both grinned at one another. Their pets had verified what they already knew: they were meant to be together. They had a happy life with their animal companions ever after that day. They even formed a community for cat and dog lovers to share their stories and humorous mistakes. They would not have it any other way because they knew their pets would always be a part of their lives. Adore their animal companions because they give them a purpose and a place to go. They kept helping abandoned cats and dogs and were delighted to see them flourish in their new homes. The couple's relationship became more profound over time, and they discovered themselves surrounded by a kind group of pet owners. They planned yearly pet adoption fairs and fundraising activities, and their group served as a template for other regional rescue organizations. They encountered difficulties such as financial setbacks and occasional challenges along the road, but they always focused on their goal. They continued to put their hearts and souls into their rescue efforts because they understood that every cat and dog they saved was worth the effort. As they reflected on their trip, they understood that what had brought them together and motivated them to improve the lives of animals was their love for their pets. And they knew they would continue doing so as long as they were alive. How they met, grew close over their shared love of animals, and founded a thriving cat rescue group served as a lesson in the strength of love and the value of following one's passion. And they thought that sharing their tale would encourage others to follow suit and change the world one furry buddy at a time. They were welcomed by the overworked personnel at the shelter, who appreciated their assistance. One of the employees commented, "We appreciate you coming, we don't know what we would do without you." "We're pleased to help whenever we can," the couple said while nodding. How many cats need to be saved? Chapter 8. About 10, the employee said. They were discovered in lousy shape, and we need more means to care for them all correctly. The couple immediately began their task. They put on their masks and gloves and looked at the kitties. They discovered that most were underweight, ill, and some even had injuries. The woman responded, "We must get them to a vet as quickly as possible." The father continued, "But we don't have enough money to pay their medical bills." With a resolve to discover a means to assist the kitties, the pair exchanged glances. They started calling their friends and supporters to solicit money and assistance. They were able to quickly generate enough cash for the kitties to have food and shelter in addition to paying for their medical bills. The couple adopted the cats and cared for them till they were healthy again. They eventually managed to find every one of them loving homes. The pair realized they had an impact as they saw the cats frolic and snuggle with their new families. One furry friend at a time, they were aware that their love of animals had once again contributed to changing the world. The couple got a call from the neighborhood animal shelter one day. They were told that some cats needed to be saved immediately after being discovered abandoned in a local park. The pair immediately sped to the shelter to survey the situation. When they first reached the shelter, they were horrified to see the cats' poor condition. They had poor nutrition, were covered with fleas, and some of them were even ill. The pair understood that they needed to act immediately to preserve the cats' lives. They decided to take in every cat and give them the required care. However, their rescue organization needed to be more generous with the influx of so many cats. They had difficulty providing the cats with the attention and care they needed, and their supplies ran low. The pair discovered they needed assistance as they battled to meet the demand. They requested help from the community, but they encountered opposition. Donations to an organization that was having trouble meeting demand were reluctantly accepted. The couple turned to their pets for solace as they felt defeated. They cared for the cats and dogs all day, finding comfort in their furry friends' love and compassion. But they were aware that they couldn't maintain the pace indefinitely. They noticed that one of the cats appeared to be acting abnormally while caring for the animals one day. The cat seemed trying to get their attention by gazing hard at the wall. Suddenly, the wall started to tremble, and the couple marveled as a doorway appeared. When a bunch of humanoid cats emerged from the portal and introduced themselves as ambassadors from another world, they couldn't believe what they saw. The ambassadors said they had been watching the couple's work with their feline companions and were inspired by their commitment and affection for animals. They had come to offer their help in caring for the cats, giving them resources and advanced medical care beyond the couple's means. The couple was taken aback, but they understood this was an opportunity to give the animals the attention they deserved. They greeted the ambassadors and collaborated with them to provide the kitties with the finest care possible. Aisha and Araz realized their love of animals had brought them together and connected them with beings from other worlds as they worked together. They appreciated the help they had gotten and felt fortunate to have been picked to take care of the animals. So, with their new feline buddies' assistance, the couple took care of their furry friends. Although they no longer worked alone, they knew their labor was far from over. They would keep improving the lives of animals in their neighborhood and beyond together. They saved Mr. Whiskers and brought him back to health with the veterinarian's assistance. But it is evident that the incident had impaired his special powers, and he could no longer converse with ghosts or see paranormal occurrences. While the pair was inconsolable, they understood they still had to look after Mr. Whiskers. They always stayed on his side and focused on ensuring he was at ease and content. As time passed, they continued their involvement with the cat rescue group and took many more cats into their house. They appreciated the happiness and friendship their pets had offered them, and they were confident they would always be there for one another. They came into a new store that had recently opened in the mall one day while they were out buying cat food. They noticed a peculiar crystal ball in the shop, selling various unusual and fascinating products. Despite their skepticism, the shopkeeper reassured the pair that the crystal ball was an effective instrument for interacting with spirits and the paranormal. They decided to buy the crystal ball and take it home. They gathered around the crystal ball that evening and tried to speak with Mr. Whiskers. They were surprised to see the crystal ball light up and hear Mr. Whiskers' voice. He said, "Hello, my lovely pals. I'm still here with you, and I always will be. Even though I can't see ghosts or feel supernatural things, I'm still watching you and guarding you from a distance." After being pleased to hear him speak again, the pair thanked Mr. Whiskers for his continuing love and protection. They continued to use the crystal ball to communicate with Mr. Whiskers and their other beloved dogs, who had died away after that day, and they always kept it near at hand. They were confident that Mr. Whiskers' spirit would remain with them throughout their work with the cat rescue group, guiding them and ensuring their safety. And they appreciated the story's unexpected turn, strengthening their bond with their animal companions. Chapter 9. The couple noticed a faint meowing coming from an adjacent alleyway as they turned to leave. Knowing their affection for animals remained as strong as ever, they grinned at one another. As they approached the noise, they came across a tiny, untidy kitten cowering behind a trash can. The kitten's large, beseeching eyes told the couple they couldn't leave it there as they turned to face it. They picked up the kitten and brought it inside, where their animals enthusiastically welcomed it. To their astonishment, Mr. Whiskers was instantly taken with the kitten, which had always been the most reclusive of their animals. The two would play and hug, and it is evident that they had a unique bond. Under the couple's care, the kitten got more robust and healthier as the weeks passed. They gave her the name Luna, and she instantly won their affection. The couple was unaware that Luna had a unique talent. She could see and speak with spirits. Soon after, Luna began guiding them on spectral excursions while utilizing her special skills to aid the transition of souls to the afterlife. With Luna's assistance, the couple was able to provide closure to countless lost souls, earning them a reputation as the neighborhood's go-to ghost hunters. Throughout this time, Luna and Mr. Whiskers remained the best of friends, adventuring into the unknown together and spreading joy to everyone they encountered. The pair concluded their animal passion had taken them on an unexpected and fantastic journey. They were glad for every second they spent together, both in this world and the next, because they knew their furry pets had brought them together for a reason. A local animal sanctuary called the couple after a few months had passed. They were told that a litter of kittens had been discovered in an abandoned area park. The pair hurried over to the shelter to see the kittens without hesitation. A group of tiny, mewing fur balls welcomed them as soon as they entered the kitten area. They immediately understood that they had to take at least one of them home before they could depart. After spending time with the kittens, they selected a stunning tabby with large green eyes. They gave her the name Luna, and she instantly won their affection. Despite owning 7 pets, the pair couldn't resist Luna's cute antics and fun disposition. Mr. Whiskers, who had assumed the position of big brother, and she would frequently cuddle up and spend hours grooming each other. As they walked into the kitten section of the shelter, the pair shouted, "Oh my goodness, look at all of them." The shelter employee retorted, "I know, it's hard to pick only one." The kittens instantly surrounded the couple as they knelt on the ground while meowing and purring. The woman chuckled, "They're all so adorable," as a tiny black and white kitten crept onto her lap. A tabby kitten with big green eyes was taken up by the man and brought close to his face. He questioned, "Hey there, little one, what do you think?" After a short meow, the kitten curled against the man's chest. The woman said broadly, "We've found our new fur baby." The pair couldn't help but feel ecstatic as they completed the adoption paperwork because they would soon be bringing their new kitten, Luna, home. As they observed their pets interacting with one another, the couple couldn't help but smile. They were grateful for every second spent with their furry family since they understood fate had brought them together. The couple kept taking care of their expanding brood of pets throughout time. They constructed a particular action for their cats to play in and went for daily walks with their dogs in the park. They even created a social media page to share their adventures with other animal enthusiasts. They and others' lives were made so much happier by their dogs. To aid with the adoption of more animals, they kept working as volunteers at the animal shelter and donating to other rescue groups. And they couldn't fathom their lives without them as they sat on the couch with their furry family. They had learned about devotion, unconditional love, and the value of present moment living through their pets. They appreciated every day with them since they knew they had the best friends in the world and had been blessed with them. The couple realized they had been right as they watched their pets. Their shared love of animals had brought them together and given them a purpose. They persisted in putting a lot of effort into their rescue group, assisting in adopting cats and dogs and spreading knowledge about animal care. One day, when they were holding an adoption event at a neighborhood park, they caught sight of a young child passing by. She appeared dejected as she cast wistful glances toward the cats and dogs. The pair questioned her about her preference for animals. They asked the child if she would want to pet one of the animals they had saved, and she nodded. The young girl followed them to the adoption area with eager eyes. She was introduced to Coco, a cute calico cat, who immediately cuddled with her and began purring. The pair realized they had discovered their ideal match when the young girl smiled for the first time. They told the girl's mother that Coco needed a loving home because she had been rescued from an abusive circumstance. The mother listened carefully, and when the couple requested permission to visit them at home, she gave her quick approval. The little girl's household seemed warm and caring when they went to see it the following day. The small girl had been having trouble making friends, the mother claimed, because they had just recently moved to the neighborhood. They were aware that Coco would be the ideal friend for her. The small girl hugged them and expressed gratitude for bringing Coco into her life as they departed after finishing the adoption process. The pair grinned, knowing that they had improved not just the life of this young girl but also Coco's. The couple's organization expanded as they continued to rescue and care for animals. They also increased the scope of their assistance to include guinea pigs and rabbits. They saw that their dogs and their love for animals had been a blessing as they reflected on their journey. They were aware of their impact on so many furry friends, and they were confident that their love would continue to direct them as they worked to improve the lot of all animals. Chapter 10. The pair experienced numerous obstacles as they continued their mission of animal rescue and care, which put their resolve to the test and brought to light the hardships faced by animals around the globe. They saw tragic scenes of neglected and abused animals on their trips to different nations. The pair encountered resistance and skepticism from locals who didn't know the worth of their efforts to save animals in some communities where people showed little empathy or understanding for animals. They came upon a neighborhood in one place where there were too many stray cats. The sight of these stray, underweight cats battling to survive on the streets deeply moved the couple. The scope of the issue felt insurmountable, but they realized they had to take something to help. Unfazed, the pair got in touch with local groups and people who shared their enthusiasm for animal care. They came together to create a coalition to deal with the neighborhood's stray cat problem. To reduce the number, they started a Trap Neuter Return (TNR) program. They also offered veterinary services and taught the locals how to take care of their pets. However, they needed help funding their programs and persuading some locals to support them. When there were urgent human needs to take care of, some individuals questioned why they were devoting time and resources to animal welfare. Although they were aware of how crucial it was to solve human challenges, the couple thought that compassion applied to all creatures. They planned events, partnered with neighborhood businesses, and requested assistance from global animal welfare organizations in order to generate money and awareness. In an effort to encourage people to support their cause, they posted about their experiences and the tales of the animals they had saved on social media. They started to affect change with their efforts. People who had at first been dubious sent them supportive notes, and some even started offering their time to assist with rescue and adoption operations. As the company evolved, it extended its reach to other nations dealing with similar problems. They established alliances with neighborhood animal shelters and rescue organizations and gave them assistance, resources, and training. They gave communities the tools they needed to take action and better the lives of the animals in their communities by sharing their knowledge and experiences. The couple never lost sight of their goal despite the obstacles and painful conditions they endured. They persisted in being strong and committed to making a place where all animals might know affection, consideration, and respect. Their voyage revealed the complexity of animal care as well as the range of feelings they encountered. When they saw the metamorphosis of an abused animal receiving a loving home, they were filled with joy and satisfaction. When they met resistance or saw animals suffering, they experienced irritation and despair. And when they observed the effects of their work on both animals and the people they served, they were filled with optimism and thankfulness. The couple's tale ultimately served as an example of the value of compassion and the necessity of speaking up for those who are unable to do so. Through their tenacity and steadfast commitment, they profoundly affected countless animals' lives and motivated others to follow in their footsteps. The woman stroked Luna's fur, adding, "I would never have guessed that one tiny kitten could drastically impact our lives." "I know," her boyfriend acknowledged. "It's surprising how much good one little act of compassion can do." She shook her head and added, "And to think we almost failed to rescue her. I'm so glad we decided to look into that meowing." Mr. Whiskers stretched and rose to join them after sleeping in a nearby area of sunlight. Sensing the atmosphere, Luna hopped onto his back and jokingly slapped at his ears. The man laughed at the scene and remarked, "It's been such a wild ride. I never imagined we'd be the neighborhood heroes," said the author. She scratched Mr. Whiskers behind the ears and remarked, "It's all because of our furry buddies. They've given us so much meaning and happiness." Luna meowed and rubbed against their legs as if on cue. With their cherished pets by their sides, they grinned at one another, confident that they would carry on making a difference. The neighborhood seemed odd to the couple as they settled into their new home with their pets. Many cats would congregate in the same park daily, meowing and pawing the ground as though they were trying to communicate. The couple went to the park with their pets one day to conduct an investigation. They came closer and saw that one of the cats was wearing a tag on its collar that said, "Please help me find my human." The pair understood what they needed to do right away. They transported the cat to a neighboring animal shelter and posted information about the pet online. They got a message from the cat's owner, who had been desperately looking for their cherished pet for weeks, within a few hours. The cat's owner was ecstatic to see their animal again, and the pair felt good knowing they had played a part in reuniting a family. They were incredibly proud of their animals because they had been essential to the rescue effort. They were always on the lookout for missing or stray animals and would make great efforts to ensure they were reunited with their families. From that day on, the couple and their pets became known as the neighborhood heroes. Their efforts were noted, and soon after that, they were contacted by a nearby animal welfare group which offered them a position as animal rescuers. The couple and their animals were happy to accept the challenge and were eager to improve the lives of animals significantly. So the couple and their pets continued their explorations, saving creatures and reuniting families. They were conscious that their shared love of animals had brought them together and that they were destined to benefit the world. Their tale spread throughout the neighborhood, and they were showered with encouragement and thanks from others who had benefited from their work. The outpouring of love humbled them, and they realized they were on the right track. The pair reflected on their experience and couldn't help but appreciate their animal companions. In addition to bringing them together, their pets gave them a reason to get together and a passion they would treasure for the rest of their lives. With their pets by their sides, they went on to live happily ever after while improving the world one rescue at a time. The couple's enthusiasm for animal rescue and feline education extended beyond their immediate surroundings. They started on a quest to establish cat rescues and promote feline education in numerous nations, to have a global impact on cat care. Here are some of the countries where their initiatives have been established. Japan, the couple, known for their love of cats, recognized an opportunity to partner with local organizations in Japan. They established cat rescues and developed educational initiatives to address the challenges of overpopulation and stray cats. Ukraine, stray cat numbers were a significant issue in Ukraine. The pair collaborated with animal welfare organizations and local communities to rescue and care for these animals. They also conducted spaying and neutering efforts in order to limit additional population growth. Germany, with a strong emphasis on animal welfare, Germany provided the pair with an ideal atmosphere in which to launch cat rescues and educational activities. They worked with local shelters and veterinarians to promote responsible pet ownership as well as the significance of spaying and neutering. The couple's activities extended to the United Kingdom, where they collaborated with established animal rescue organizations. They held workshops and awareness efforts to address the issue of abandoned and abused cats. Italy, the pair collaborated with local animal welfare organizations and veterinarians to rescue and rehabilitate stray cats in Italy. They focused mainly on spreading awareness about the benefits of adoption and reasonable pet care. Recognizing the unique obstacles that feral cat colonies experience in France, the pair collaborated with local volunteers to create trap-neuter-return (TNR) programs. These initiatives sought to stabilize wild cat populations and enhance their overall health. Brazil, in Brazil, where street cats were ordinary, the pair worked with animal shelters and rescue organizations to organize spaying and neutering programs. They also emphasized the necessity of immunizations and proper cat care in communities. Russia, the pair collaborated with animal welfare organizations and veterinarians in Russia to address the problem of stray cats and encourage spaying and neutering. They collaborated extensively with local communities to shift perceptions regarding cat ownership and promote responsible behavior. The couple faced unique hurdles and cultural differences, but their commitment to cat rescue and education remained unshakable. They tailored their approach to the needs of each country, always seeking to better the lives of cats and leave a lasting impression. Their efforts saved numerous feline lives and motivated others in these countries to join them in their fight. Together, they developed a network of dedicated individuals and organizations committed to improving the lives of cats one country at a time.